Fusco. Welcome back to the Fusco Family Kitchen. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to make noodles. I'll show you how to put it together. We'll do some assembly, make the lasagna, the whole thing. So stick with me and we'll have a good time. The recipe I'm using today is my recipe. It's not my mother-in-law's recipe, although hers is pretty similar. But I found that one day I was starting this and I was short on flour, but I had cake flour. And I used cake flour instead, and I liked it better. Then I found out since then that a lot of people do use the cake flour in their recipes. So today I have 2 cups of cake flour, 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour, not the better for bread flour. It has to be all-purpose. We're going to have 1/4 cup of oil and a little smidgen of salt in the flour, and 4 eggs. So I'll get started and we'll see how that goes today. So I'll just get my little salt in the flour and mix that up a little bit. I'm going to put this in here where I have a lot of room to do this. We have 4 eggs. Already added the salt, and we'll put a little oil all at once. You can just take that away already. And the best way to do this is by hand. And I have put it in my a KitchenAid, and it takes a lot of time, and so being wasteful of the flour and so forth, and everything sticks to the beaters. So I found doing it by hand is just perfect. And I'll start it by hand like this and get it all incorporated, and then I'll put it in here at the last couple of minutes and let it do its kneading. So then I want to put it out on the board and just to get it all incorporated here. Let's see. Just want to get it all together. It's pretty soft dough, but if I take my time, you take your time, this come out perfect. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, it's going to go in the mixer for a little bit. I have my dough hook attached, and this is the attachment for the noodles. We'll do that later. I'll take it out. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can just do it by hand. You know, it just takes a little bit longer, and this, look, it's really nice and soft. And just knead it by hand until you get it that it looks like it's nice and yellow. And it's not sticky at all. And I think the oil helps keep it from sticking. All right, so I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. And this will allow the dough and the gluten to do its job. So let's cover it up. Let's see. Put it in the refrigerator. Don't take it out any less than 30 minutes, or when you put it through the roller, it'll just crumble. Our 30 minutes are up, so I can get the dough that I put in earlier and get that out. And this size, this is the 4-egg recipe that we made earlier, and this fits perfectly into an 8 by 10 or a 9 by 12 pan. It's plenty dough for that. So I'm going to take it apart and we'll get it ready. I'll cut it in a second, but before I do that, I'm going to explain something to you. If you just back up the camera a little bit and take a picture of this. This is what we used forever and ever. This has to be about almost 100 years old. This was my mother-in-law's. I use this forever and ever, and so do my children. They love doing the winding, and so if I have my grandson come over here and we'll do one so you can show how it worked. It's kind of tedious, but it is definitely a labor of love. All right, let's get that. All right, Henry. All right, let's do this a little bit. Now we're just going to put it through, just show you how this works. Go ahead. I'm going to start winding. Just put it in here and it comes out. Go ahead, keep doing it. Okay. And I got to stand beside you a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to run it through one more time. Come on, keep on doing it. Okay, and now I'm going to change the roller to get a little tighter. Okay, put it through again, and it'll flatten out a little bit more. So that's no different than what we do today, except I don't have to stand and wind this forever. Okay, we'll do one more, maybe down around here. I can't see the numbers from this side, but there's little numbers on here. Okay, keep on going. Okay. Okay, keep going. See how nice and flat it gets, and if it gets sticky, you can add a little flour, but this is pretty good. Now I've shown you the old-fashioned way, and okay, here's a new updated version. If you don't happen to have a KitchenAid like this or similar to it, you can still buy these, and I use this as well. So it works in the same concept. It has the roller. You can add on, if you want to cut pasta, there's an add-on attachment we can do. And it also has some numbers here aside. You can press the rollers wider or closer together and so forth. So it's very easy to run. Same concept as this, except we don't have to do this by hand. Okay, so if we're ready, I'll just cut this. I'm going to cut this lengthwise. And as I said, if it's sticky, we just add a little flour, but we've been pretty good. It's been in the refrigerator long enough. So I'm just going to press it out a little bit. There are numbers here. I'm going to push this to the side so I can see them. And I have a formula that I use. I use it on one to get it all soft, get it all flattened, and then I use it another number, I flatten it some more, and then the last number I flatten it again. So, you know, it's entirely up to you what your preference would be. Like my numbers are 1, 3, and 6, and it goes from 1 to 7. So let's start, and we'll at least do this way you can show, so I can show you how it's done. Okay, all right, here. I have to put my glasses on for this because I can't see the numbers. All right. Okay, here we go.